Okay, so we are live. So very fabulous. Good morning to everyone, and whoever is part of this panel discussion in YouTube and near future. Welcome to all the audience here. I am GS Kumar from the city of Bangalore, job hunt and LinkedIn trainer for mid-career to CXO professionals. So today we will take up a very serious concern about the mid-career arena. Like, has 10 years of experience become a liability instead of an asset? So the reality is very harsh but simple. So skills are aging faster than people. That's a reality, and which we are seeing in the now last 2 3 years. Skills are moving very faster, and the catching up becomes very harder for every other individual. Not only job seekers, even solopreneurs, coaches, catching up with automation and AI is becoming too terrible right now. Now, one Coursera report is showing that only 18% of professionals above 35 completed even one upskilling course last year. This is a 2025 report. For those under 30, the number is 61%. That means the average of the guys who's 10 years experience taking up a course is also very minimal. Now, this indicates that it's not a gap, that's a generation divide. And while senior professionals slowing down, the workplace is speeding up. Now, AI is writing job description, automation is reducing lot of middle level layers. These are the true realities which we are seeing in Fortune 500 companies and MNCs. Now, one of the team leads reports says that 7 out of 10 companies planning to shrink mid management cost by up to 25% this year and the next near future as well. So the question is not, do you have experience? The real question has become, is your experience is still relevant in 2025 and 2026? Relevancy is more a questionable action rather than the total experience. Like, do you have 10 years experience, 15 years experience? That doesn't even matter. Whether you have relevant experience, that is becoming a question right now. Now, mid-career job seekers often tell us they feel invisible. So, a People Matter study that found that 72% of them feel very professionally undervalued within the team, because it's a mix and match of Gen Z and mid-level layers, senior professionals, and this mid-level people slowly feeling a little awkward and little invisible or little undervalued in their workplace itself, where things are getting little worse on the cultural front. But recruiters also confess something very important. A LinkedIn India survey shows that 58% of senior resumes are skipped because the skills don't map to modern job descriptions. So it's not rejection of experience, it's a rejection of old narratives. So this morning we have two very seasoned panel members here. Dhaval Vyas, product manager and career counselor, Pune, and Geetika Gupta, founder, Search Buddies, Bangalore. Welcome, Geetika and Dhaval, to the wonderful conversation out here. So we will discuss a lot of wide varieties of dimensions towards this particular topic, because this is very terrible and concerning, but it is not being voiced out. So maybe I'll start with, you have also crossed with this kind of an experience and undervalue, all those things. So in your experience, like, what are all symptoms you have seen when you crossed like 8 years, 10 years, and you feel little terrible, little insecure? So maybe we'll start with that. Dhaval?
Sure. So you touched upon a very important topic, GS, when we started with this. You mentioned that it's not just about the tenure, like 10 years that you have spent, but is your tenure relevant as well? In this case, I would like to quote a very famous book that one of my manager had suggested me to read, and the title was "What Brought You Here Will Not Get You There." So over here, majority of the time, what people fail to understand is that what makes you a wonderful programmer or a wonderful analyst has maybe gotten you into the door to an organization. You spent a couple of years over a period of time and you have built yourself to a level wherein you are start getting recognized for your skills of development. But unfortunately, these days, and again, as a very right point that you had mentioned, that the skills are evolving at such a rapid pace that if you are not able to keep the pace of your learning along with the changing dimensions of the organizations as well as the customer requirements, soon you will find yourself to be awkward out. You will soon find yourself to be little bit irrelevant. And you very rightly mentioned one more statistic, that majority of the organizations are trying to cut their middle layer cost, and that requires a very deeper question, that why middle layer only? Why aren't they slowing down their graduate hirings? Why aren't they stopping their campus drives? All these things boils down to a fact that whenever you are bringing in the new students in or a new employees in, they bring in something new kind of a energy as well as the new kind of a skill set. So rightly said that it's not just about the tenure. The tenure itself is not going to define, like in the olden years it used to happen, that after every particular skill sets or every particular type of tenure that you have spent in an organization, you are automatically eligible for promotion. Those kind of promotion process are definitely going away from the organizations. That's my view on the some of the phenomena that we have seen and the kind of concerns that these people of approx 10 years of experience are feeling.
So we will discuss more about multiple areas. So Geetika, what is your past experience dealing with this kind of experience levels in various organizations? What is your first thought?
So I'll start with an example. I worked with a chief marketing officer. He somewhere had around say 20-25 years of experience. He was managing multi-millionaire ad budgets for a very big corporate at one point in time. So while he started looking out for options, I suggested him, why don't you do something which is related to AI, which whether it's a augmented AI course or generative AI course, so that your demand in terms of the skill can be equally relevant. And the funny thing is, he said that I'm here to manage people and not tools. And obviously, after 6 months, I got to know that he was not replaced by a younger CMO, but you'll be amazed to understand that people with 5 years of experience who come with that kind of relevancy replaced him. So there was no one person who was replaced by him, and plus the skill set. So basically, somebody who knows how to leverage AI nowadays through say Midjourney, ChatGPT, Gemini. There's so many tools to do strategic and tactical work, because they basically take one third of the time to do things instead of 8 hours. So that is how your role or you get irrelevant in the market. Likewise, Kumar correctly mentioned that the experience is not the problem. His refusal to adapt to the new situation or the skill set was a problem. So I think my solution to that kind of thing, or probably if you are facing such a problem, is that you follow say 20% kind of rule. There is a rule which is 20% new skill rule. So what you do is that um, you get in touch with younger people, you teach them a strategic kind of leadership, what do you do and how do you do, and you get to learn from them the new AI tools, how is it relevant, what all we can do, all of that. So here it is not only you being relevant, you're also teaching the youngsters that this is how it can be. We can work in the same ecosystem where I learn something from you and you learn something from me, and that is how the eco balance can be maintained. So there's so many tools which somebody can learn, and it is, you have to be open to learn things, is what I understand now, which is more relevant. And as per World Economic Forum, 40% of the employers will expect to reduce the work staff in 2026. So I think it is high time understand it is not about what you bring on the table. It is more about what are you ready for in the coming years in terms of skill set. So yeah.
Wonderful. So that's again a good start of conversation in multiple dimensions.
Yeah.
Maybe from an organization perspective or a business perspective, so I recruit skill, not the experience, right? As a business owner, I'll be recruiting skill to solve my problem. Whether I'm recruiting and buying a time for from a skilled people to solve my issue, which I don't know. Let's say a graphic designing role. Okay, so why I'm hiring a graphic designer is because I don't know the skill. Maybe I don't know Canva, Photoshop. Skill wise, I don't know. Number one, or I don't have the time. Even though I know Canva templates and all that, I don't have time to do because I'm concentrating on my other P&L activities. So that's why I do a fresh recruitment. Now I'm recruiting for the skill and time which I want to solve my issue. Is that skill is the only area which we have to concentrate rather than experience? Or the experienced people will say, okay, I have 10 years experience in Canva, 10, 20 years experience in Photoshop. Is that reinvention is not at all happening? Like a lot of people, let's say even they going with the same example, people started with Photoshop and InDesign, all those things. But right now they are not evolving to the stage of AI based design. So if I have to recruit a graphic designer and look at only skill, what is my loss? Like they may not even understand my the current requirement of what I'm trying to convey, and they might come with the older designs which may not even like. So the skill part is what I wanted to discuss with you, Dhaval. Like, is experience is enough without reinvention? What do you suggest?
I think experience alone will not take you anywhere. And because the tooling is evolving, even the kind of business problems that we are solving are evolving. So, if I were to take you like 15 years back when I started my journey as an analyst in one of the leading banks, the only KRA that was given to us in India was that you have to be 2 times faster than New York, 5 times faster than London to complete this reporting process, because the only type of outsourcing that used to happen was a very low key level report generation or those kind of things. So at that time, people with the very good experience in Excel macros or maybe VBA, they were given a lot of preferences and they were getting a lot of traction and they were getting a lot of promotions as well. But you fast forward the same thing at this point in time. If I were to tell you that you go ahead and recruit somebody with the experience in pivot tables, I don't think so that skill is ever in demand these days. Even the kind of reporting that we were doing earlier, those kind of things do not even require humans these days, because your co-pilots, your AIs, your agents, these things can do very quickly on the top of this. So along with the skill set, and as you were taking the example of a graphic designer, so somebody might be doing it in some old technologies, how adaptive they are of using any new co-pilots for them, how quickly are they are going to be doing that, because the requirement these days is not just to be doing something which is like cutting edge, but you have to do it quick as well. The agile development, all kind of concepts that are coming in, they want you to ship your product as quickly as possible. So majority of the time what I have seen is, in one of the experiences, that we had a very wonderful technologist who was expert of .NET technologies. However, his skill set were required somewhere else, and for that he had to learn Java. And he said, no, I'm not doing it, even though he was being offered a higher level, much more team to look at, and much bigger problem to solve. But their kind of adherence that, okay, I don't want to go out of my comfort zone, it could create a problem at times. So you just have to not look at the skill set alone. That is why in majority of the organization these days, after the skill interview is done, there is a fitment interview also taken by the senior management, and that's where they are assessing that I'm taking this person in right now on their right potential right now. How is it going to transform into a performance for me if I were to put you into multiple roles? The fungibility of a role is a big thing. So it's not just about the skill set, I would say, but the attitude part and the preparedness of an individual to be fungible is very, very essential than just going with the experience of a specific tool set or skill set.
I think two important dimensions you brought. One is career pivotable options. We should be ready and we should be adaptable to new career pivots. And one is the fungibility, because when I'm recruiting somebody, I need at least minimum 3 years of commitment. Otherwise, there is no point keep on recruiting new people on a year-on-year basis, which will definitely impact my business growth. Because I strongly believe the more and more a stable team you have, the business growth wise will affect your P&L. Otherwise, if you keep hiring firing on a every year basis, it will have a major impact in your business. So my area of concern is it outdated knowledge decreases hiring value automatically, or what do you think?
I would say it will eventually. I mean, I will quote the same example once again, right? I had asked for promotion to my manager, and I'm talking from my own example now. When I had automated an Excel based report, and I asked them, like, okay, this used to take me like 4 hours to do, now I do it in 15 minutes, give me a raise. Now, same thing, if I think that I will continue to replicate from a junior level to a senior analyst level, from senior analyst to team manager level, and if I expect that that same skill set is going to take me there, I'm just fooling my own self. There were certain skill sets, like in the olden days when we were all used to having mainframe computers. So mainframe was a skill set that was very, very looked after, and it was a very, very niche, and people used to take pride that I can do assembly language planning, I can do the mainframe development and everything. Do I say that mainframe development skill set is completely extinct now? The answer is no. There are still few organizations where it is required. But is it enough to make you a CTO of an organization? My answer would be no. You need to constantly evolve. You need to constantly adapt to the changing requirement. These days, each and every line item of code that is being written, there are many such organizations like Google or Yahoo. They had mentioned that more than 60% of those line items are being written by co-pilots. So it's
Hmm.
not somebody knowing how to write your public static void or your syntax properly is what valued for. How you are able to reuse some of the component to solve similar problems. So the problem
Hmm.
solution is taking precedence over here. So your skill, if you do not upgrade and you remain constant, you remain static, I mean, unfortunately, yes, you will become a liability, and that's the discussion that we are having. So, yes, unless and until you are ready to adapt and you need to upgrade yourself. I mean, we don't even keep an iPhone for more than 3 years in our pocket, right? So, we are talking about individuals over here.
See, Dhawan, do you see any mindset resistance between the in the mid-career people, like 10 years who cross? They become like it's a pattern. Like morning, I wake up, go Monday to Saturday office, come back home, settle down, and there is no time to subscribe to Udemy or Coursera or whatever courses I have. Or is there resistance to change? What do you see?
I definitely do that resistance, and I attribute it to the overall, I would say, the propensity towards the fixed reward that we have seen a lot in our previous generations, right? If you were to go out in the market and you tell somebody that your fixed component is X, but your variable component will be like 10 times X, they will be very, very hesitant. But if you go ahead and tell them, like, okay, I'm going to make your fixed component a lot higher and your variable little lower, they would be still comfortable because there is a chance that even without putting any effort, there is a fixed inflow that is going to come to me. In
Hmm.
this case, what happens is that, and I will speak purely for on the ITES industry perspective because it's been the largest recruitment provider in India. So what has happened is that there has been a set template. People like to templatize their life.
Hmm.
Engineering, try to get H1B, get a lot of money, come back to India, invest in multiple properties, and you are done and dusted. That template, unfortunately, is not going to be working a lot. So people who are at a junior level have seen their seniors doing this, and when it's
Hmm.
their chance to do it, and when the opportunities are not there, they will blame everything apart from their own self across the world. Organization
Correct.
not doing right, politicians not doing right, some war somewhere is ruining my chances. I'm not able to get my something because of all these external factors. But we have to understand the fact that the
Mm,
dynamics are changing. World is a dynamic place. The very place you call yourself your home, Earth, it's also dynamically changing throughout the year and throughout the life, right? So yes,
mm,
now getting H1B and getting that fixed component is no longer going to be your assistant. You have to find a way to evolve yourself. These days, the concept that I introduced was of a fractional product owner. There are people who act as a fractional product owner. They are not associated with any one organization, but in their capacity, they are serving multiple organizations. So these kind of will continue to evolve, and people need to keep up pace with that. And there, the resistance comes because people feel that, oh, I put in so many effort, I got into like elite universities, I put in so many efforts to crack this organization, I put in so many efforts to survive 10 years and be at a level, and now you are again asking me to skill. They will say,
mm.
"Oh, now is my time to be entitled for certain rewards. Now I should be getting rewards. Now I should be flying everywhere across the globe." That is what, when it doesn't
It's
happen.
like capital budgeting is already done. It is my time of ROI. Why are you again wanting me to invest? Ha ha ha. Got you, got you, got you. Maybe I'll circle back to you another dimension. Maybe I'll shift to Geetika right now. So you're doing a lot of recruitments at the mid level, senior level, all that, and you'll be hunting from various places, including Naukri, LinkedIn, and all that. So in the talent acquisition place, when you are hunting, is there any keyword missing, and are this senior professionals are missing the keyword test, like they don't know how to articulate their skills and selling only their experience? Okay, procurement manager, 10 plus years experience kind of thing. Do you see, while sourcing, do you see any keyword missing, or they are failing the entire keyword test itself? What is your opinion?
Yeah, I think it is. If I talk about, because I am into tech and non-tech hiring both, I feel the tech industry is more awakened in terms of using tools and, you know, how do we simplify the resume in a way that, I am able to articulate what I bring on the table. Unfortunately, when I see a lot of support role where, say, if I talk about marketing or HR or operations or, probably supply chain, procurement. So these roles are basically support roles for the organization. And they are still struggling, or they are still figuring out how to be more relevant in the marketplace right now. Um, Obviously, coming in terms of experience, people with 15 years of experience or 15 plus years of experience, they are still figuring out. And I'm sure because you are a resume expert, and I'm sure you see a lot of people with major experience, 15 plus, would be reaching out to you saying that we are not able to find a job because my CV is not getting shortlisted. ATS is not recognizing my keywords anymore. So what to do? So that is how things are. But I think when I compare tech and non-tech, tech people are still aware because a lot of tools, they are ready to change because they are more in the market, they are right forefront with the customers. So I think in that way things are churning a lot. People are able to understand a lot more in a tech industry. Say for example, I was talking to somebody a few days back, and I told him that ATS will not pick up the resume because you don't have the right keyword. So for example, if you write that I collaborate with, say, marketing team and I do this is, instead of that, if you write, say, I use agile methodology and I this is what I bring on the table, say I move, say, customer experience from X to Y, that will help the ATS to actually detect your keywords and then shortlist you. Because anyways, the first screening nowadays is done by AI. So your keywords have to be really, really relevant in today's world, and that can only be relevant if you are ready to upskill yourself. Um, Even if your resume says that you have upskilled, and if you have not done it, so you will get to know that in the first part of the interview. So hence, you cannot fake it anymore. You can't write something else and you can present something else, because you will get to know things now very, very transparently, thanks to AI. And I think with the human intervention also, it makes little easy for us to collaborate and take things forward in talent acquisition or a hiring industry here.
Okay. So since you're day in day out, you're hunting people, reviewing the resumes and LinkedIn. What are the mistakes are done by these senior professionals because they may not have updated their profile on various places, and you feel like okay, this is little awkward kind of thing. So, but you cannot convey because those are your potential candidates whom you will be placing. Correct.
Yeah,
So, what
yeah.
do you see as mistakes from their side which you want to call it out and suggest people that okay, these are the mistakes we are seeing. Maybe it is a time for them to rectify those things. Can you? Is it possible that you can list it out? Okay, these are the mistakes they are doing when they are creating digital profiling in Naukri, LinkedIn, whatever places.
So I believe the first and foremost thing is that we don't have to make a generalized statements about what we do anymore. So for example, a recruiter cannot say that I CVs. So that is something which you are supposed to do, or you were supposed to do at one point in time. But when you screen the CVs, what percentage do you bring on the table? So for example, if you look at say 100 resumes in a day, after AI shortlist them, how much time do you actually take to drill down 100 to say 50 resumes? So that's the time which actually you offer to your new employer in the market, that this is what I bring on the table. Correct. Again, say interview process, what kind of uh, you know uh, candidate experience you bring on the table, because most of the administrative work because are handled by AI now. So your work as a role has become leveled up, because you are now working as a partner, as a strategic partner with the business. You are not working as a recruiter anymore. So your focus has to be business and customer, or probably say the candidate, right? So the candidate experience has to go up. And how did you do that? What percentage were you able to offer to your current, and how say the new employer will be able to take justice from it? So I think that ways, if you are able to put a number to it, or probably how did you do that, is I think more of an importance. What tools did you use? Are you okay with certain tools? Are you okay to learn new skill set? Is what has to be there in the resume right now. Instead of just putting that I screen resume, in touch with candidates, I build a pipeline and blah 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 blah. It has to be very very number oriented, because that is how it is going to take from point A to point B right now.
Okay. So one first layer is that resume profiling, all that, but the second layer is during the interview. So during the screening process, when you are submitting profiles to the clients, and during the validation call, interview call, do you see a large gap in terms of their understanding towards the job description or a skill match level? Where do you see a gap, or where do you see a gap, and what sort of elements needs to be fixed there?
See, what how I operate, how search buddies operate is that we have to be really really sure before we send across a CV to the client, right? So for that uh, to happen, we basically I take a set of questions from the client, so that they don't waste their time. Because if I am coming into the picture, they are paying me for something, right? I need to value add that into the process. So I have to have certain questions which I actually ask the candidate. If I and after that, if I'm confident, then I'll forward it. And I'm glad that
No,
almost
I
90%
got
of.
you, Gitika. I got you, Gitika. But what I'm asking is, during the interview validation, do you see a gap from the candidate side? Like you ask for something and they're completely blank about it in terms of technicality or future artificial intelligence or automation technologies wise. Do you see a major gap, and where is the gap?
Yes, I see the gap there, because people are still getting used to AI. It is something which is people have absorbed it, and probably they are comfortable with it. They are still getting a hang of it. They are still fearful of it. Uh, they are still not aware. They are very confused about where to start and what to do and all of that about AI specifically. If I talk about, but likewise, I also mentioned people from tech industry, especially the techies, are very very aware about things. So when I see a techie giving an interview, he or she is more aligned in terms of being available in the market, how to be relevant in the market in terms of the interview process. But yes, again, coming back to the point where people who are already working for 15 plus years of experience, they are struggling. not sure where to go, who can guide them, and all of that is happening. So I see that gap during the interview process for sure.
And GS, I would
Right,
like to extend that thought that you were having with Geetika. And again, I would like to bring in the domain on the technology industry, since Geetika was mentioning this as well. See, what has been happening is that for good amount of last couple of decades, the Indian tech industry or the outsourcing industry has always been on the model of order taking industry, wherein
right.
somebody tells them that go ahead and build this solution, go ahead and provide this solution for us. That thing is changing. These are no
Okay.
longer just the extended capacity centers, which
Mm.
they just get some problems and they go ahead and solve it. Now people need to think out of box and they are coming up with their innovation centers. A lot of these
Hmm.
technology companies are coming up with wonderful AI based solution, and they are in fact suggesting this solution to the businesses that why don't you do it this way. So if I were to quote you the quote of Mr. Henry Ford, he said that if he would have gone in the market and asked people that what do you want in early days before he even built his first car, the people in New York would have told him, like, give me the fastest running horse or the best horse car. Nobody would
Hmm.
have told them that give me an internal combustion engine that can take me, much more faster than a horse can. Same thing or the same inflection point at which technology industry is there right now. Now is the time where these people of like the experience of 10 to 15 years of bracket, they need to come out of from that shell of being order takers to be innovative thinkers. They need to start thinking of the solution and provide a solution to the business. That will be the next level of growth. So yes,
Hmm.
they may have keywords and everything on their CVs, but from the execution perspective part, they might still be the order takers. That attitude adjustment is to be done now. They need to be start providing solutions.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a great point. So, relating to that point, let's say some 10 years, 15 years guys is going to the job market and shifting his job after 5 years of a tenure with the existing company. And when he started applying in Naukri, LinkedIn, or through referrals, and there is a continuous rejections happens, maybe because of multiple reasons. So, what kind of emotional crisis he's going on, and how do is this rejection creating a confidence crisis in them? Maybe have you seen with your own colleagues or friends what type of confidence crisis happens during that phase?
I mean, it's a very, I would say, emotionally challenging situation for anyone. A very good colleague of mine himself was struggling to land the job. He's a very wonderful professional, got a lot of good values. However, generally the every rejections comes with its own baggage. If I were to give you
Correct.
the parlance of a game of cricket, generally whenever the bowler wants to unsettle a settled batsman, when you have a couple of swing and a miss, the fielders will ensure that they continue to remind you that you missed that one, you missed that one, you got out that day, you got out this way. That plays in the back of your head. So similarly,
Hmm.
now consider this individual who has spent 10 to 15 years, very
Yes.
good reviews, good experience, but feeling stuck, so looking for a change. Every time he or she approaches an organization and every time there is a rejection, it kind of hits their psyche that, I'm maybe not good enough,
Yeah.
maybe outdated, maybe my skill sets are not relevant. And then person starts getting into any kind of direction. So every rejection, it comes with its own set of baggage, and to sustain that part and remaining positive and looking at the ways of it is again very very difficult, because some bit of I would say the trouble lies with the way rejections are being given by the organizations themselves. Majority of the time you will be ghosted. You apply
Hmm.
for a job opportunity, 9 out of the 10 times you won't even have a call back.
Correct.
For example, you got a call back, the interview got scheduled, you went for an interview. How many times have we ourselves written a proper feedback that this is the XYZ reason why we were not able to recruit you? We don't do that, right? Even in the
Hmm.
corporate side, Gitika would also be knowing from the recruitment side. She must be getting like a lot of follow-ups from the candidates. Hey, I appeared for the interview. What happened then? What happened there? So I think there is some bit of empathy everyone needs to be showing, that if you are interviewing a candidate, at least provide a reason why somebody is not going through. And at times, I'll be very very honest over here, that the reasons are not very individual specific, but something else completely matters, right? Someone else has
mm,
from internally only certain cost targets, when there is no fault of this individual for which he has not been given the role, but still he is at the receiving end. And if this message does not pass to that individual, it's going to always create a psychological crisis in that individual's head. And I myself have been through this phase.
mm,
There were
mm.
times when the recruitments were very very slow during the COVID time, when it was very very difficult to figure out. You definitely get into a self doubt sort of a zone, and
Correct.
that time, to keep yourself motivated, it requires a lot of good support system back at home, or you have to be keeping yourself very very positive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So is it more towards, like, let's say 10 rejection happened during interview or not even getting a call. What was your first thought? Is it running towards your skill development? Maybe technology wise I'm not good. These five interviews ask only this technology which I don't know. Is it running towards that skill development area where you have to invest or continuous learning, or towards any other dimension, maybe the process of job hunt or resume or LinkedIn or networking for that matter? What was your thought process during a rejection phase where you thought, okay, this dimension is a gap which I have to fill to scale up to the next level?
I think blend of all the three that you mentioned, GS. So yes,
Mm,
the skill development, and over here I would like to take a pause and make this statement very very clearly, that skill development should not be only to seek your next promotion or to next job. Skill
correct.
development is going to be a survival skill. If you want to survive in an industry, if you want to continue to remain a performer where industry or the company would like to invest in you, you have to upgrade constantly. So skill development definitely is the first thing. You need to find out, like, okay, these were some of the questions that were being asked, and where I was found wanting, I need to be working on that part. First thing. Second thing, you had mentioned about the job search approach. That definitely has to change. The easy way of, like, figuring out the list of jobs on LinkedIn and see wherever there is a easy apply, you just keep click 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 click, and then you expect that somebody on the other side of the table would be look at it and they will be getting back to you. We ourselves get a lot of spam messages, right? We don't go ahead and reply to every Bajaj Finance calls that no, I don't require your loan, I don't require your loan. Half of the time we just keep them on the, like, auto delete mode, or our true callers filter them out. So we should not expect that every HR recruiter will be coming and telling us, like, okay, rejected, accepted, rejected, accepted. So you need to modify your job search strategy as well. And the third part that you mentioned, the networking. I mean, I can't
Mm,
stress more importance of networking. I myself have shifted 4 to 5 roles in my 20 years of career, and more often than not, whether it is within organization or outside organization, my role shifts have always been through network. The
wow.
first thing is, it gives the authenticity. When you are going
Mm,
to speak with somebody, you are not just going with an open slate, like, can you please take me? It's like doing a cold calling, right? If somebody
mm,
just gives you a random call that buy an insurance policy from me, will you?
mm,
Most often not, right? We will have some family member of ours with whom our fathers or forefathers have been doing business, or our other friend circles are doing business. We have that trust of authenticity, right? So over here,
mm,
even in the job market, the trust and the authenticity part is very, very essential. So you need to maintain that network. That even if you are quitting an organization, maintain enough positive network with those people, so that when you require their assistance to seek for a role or a referral, they should not feel hesitant. "Eh, Dhaval, I'm not referring him." Whenever you
mm.
go ahead with them, they should be having like, no, I understand this individual's work ethic. That network, that is your biggest net worth, is, I would say, in current world.
That's absolutely bang on. See, because most of the working professionals, when they are busy Monday to Friday, they don't have time. Or Saturday, Sundays, they typically go for movies or outing. And networking is never ever a scene or a pattern for them. The moment they see a tech layoff or layoff, they suddenly go to LinkedIn and then start posting emotionally that I'm looking for a job, which will never work, right? So LinkedIn, majority of the people, they have a misconception that is it is like a job portal like Naukri, which is wrong. Like you'll have to be a continuous networker from the day one, even if you are at a no risk zone. That will elevate or help you with a good network of people, even if you lose job. That is kind of building you have to build from the day one, so that any kind of socio-economic policies or tech layoff or skill decreasing, all that, you can connect with any people whom you have already networked, already had a face value, all that. So I think that practice has to get increased, so that we avoid that risk zone of tomorrow. I mean, next month I'm losing a job. Today I'm very very hurry burry to get into multiple things. Yeah. So couple of people, I think they're asking questions. Okay, Moonlit Tales. So if you have a question, you can ask. Nowadays, everything is done by artificial intelligence. Yes, it is been done, but people who are in the hiring space, they are also hiring people who have intelligence or skill towards AI. So maybe that is one element we'll have to upskill. All right, I'll just move again to Geetika in terms of the hiring pattern again. So, like when your clients are giving the mandates to you, it comes with a budget. Okay, like 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, whatever it is. So, is it experience getting rejected because of cost? Like, okay, I want this guy for 10 lakhs, but I already have somebody who's 7 lakhs. Maybe that rejection takes place because of that also. Like, what is your thought process?
So see, many a times it happens and many a times it doesn't happen. It depends upon organization to organization. And I think with the evolvement of AI into workplace, yes, people are very very cost conscious, and so basically it is cost versus what you bring on the table is a kind of question nowadays. So, but
Correct.
I think the employers also understand that, because AI is still not a mature concept in India, it is still evolving. Everybody's learning and they are trying to like integrate their own systems with it. So, they are more than happy to have an open, kind of discussion that, somebody in my team is of, say, same level, earning 7 lakhs, and this is what I want. So, my first question to them is that, you know, does that JD align to what he or she's currently doing? Because if he or she is not doing, then obviously the skill set and the compensation with it has to match. So uh, few companies, they understand that, a lot of things are being changed because AI is there, and then it impacts the business, how it impacts the business and all of that. Uh, I will also like to say one thing that, if you have the skill set, it doesn't matter if, and you have done what you have done, which you have written on the resume. I think nowadays employers, they don't care whether they have to spend another 5 lakhs more on you, because they see not only for today, they see you for the next 5 years with you. So, and recruitment is always a cost for the organization. It's a support role, but obviously it is a cost center, right? So what you bring on the table today should also be relevant. You should also be skillable. You should also be open to learn skill set if we hire you. So these are the all kind of parameters which come into the play when I look at a JD and what kind of compensation expense and the behavioral skill set they require. So yeah, that's how it is.
Okay, one keyword I got from your conversation is scalable. So I just putting in a different word. Is it like coachability, right? Like 10 years when you cross, like 10 years hardcore experience, you bring in tech, non-tech, whatever it is, and then you forget the pattern of learning on new skills. So is it coachability something missing, or is it creating some practical issues in terms of coaching the 10 plus years of experience in terms of upskilling? and is it that becomes a barrier when they are hiring someone who's 12 years, 15 years? Do you see there the coachability element is one of the barrier because of these people?
Yes, I do feel it because we have been doing our jobs for last 15 years, right? We come from a background where we actually screen resumes, each and every resumes ourselves. Coming from that to now a machine is doing it for us. It will take time for us to absorb, and obviously we are fearful of it, of losing our jobs, and also going along with the kind of we need to upskill ourselves and be open for a new skill set is also fearful for any, I think, any human, because this is the first time we are actually kind of integrating ourselves with a machine, right? They're thinking fast, they're thinking in a more quicker way, they are very efficient, they are doing a lot of things above and beyond us, right? So I think coachability, which I feel is a kind of a gap which we can definitely fill in, because if we don't do it now, we'll be out of jobs very soon. So that is how I think. So for example, if I give an example, so I was in touch with a VP HR like 6 months back, and she was searching for a role, VP HR, doing, the company has global presence, she has been doing a lot of things, but again, when she started looking out for a role, it's been 6 months, and she just declared herself that she's unhireable because she doesn't know anything about it. She doesn't know how to integrate systems with her work. So we had to take a pause for her hiring process, because she was breaking down emotionally. She was actually questioning herself that, is that the thing? Is That's my entire existence after 15 years of experience. So
Hmm.
I suggest that, whatever, wherever you're applying, whenever you get, say, 10 rejections, just take a detox for 48 hours. Just don't
Hmm.
apply anywhere, and try get in touch with people. Again, networking, upskill yourself, go and teach somebody, help
Hmm.
somebody, do your hobby, get something out of, you have to get out of your system for at least for 48 hours, so that you feel that in the next 48 hours actually I have done something, I have contributed to something, right? Because all the rejection is actually bogging you down, it is not helping you. So if you start channelizing your energy in a separate way, in a different direction, it will give you some kind of achievement, that will give you some sense of belonging, that no, this is not what it is. It is just a temporary situation of the market, which is letting me believe that worth it. So yeah, that's how I feel about it.
No, no, Wendy, very, very fantastic point. Like, you see, that's the emotional back-to-back hit when somebody at 15 years experience, 20 years experience, not have something to fulfill organization need is something a very shocking element in, especially for HR, because the crowd is too heavy in the HR where we
Yeah.
compete with very, very junior guys for the same role. So let me ask you one thing on the practical stuff which you are doing on a daily basis. Okay, I'll give a scenario. So let's say you shortlisted three people, okay, and everybody have a 20 lakh CTC. All three people have done well on their technical skills, and each one have 20 lakhs is a CTC. Okay. Now, out of this three, four people, you'll have to select one. Now, which particular dimension of the skill part or attitude part or any other part which will make you shortlist that one guy among these three, four guys? Have you got that experience in the past? Oh, okay, this is same level of CTC, but this guy is better. What made you to shortlist that particular profile? Can you suggest our audience so that they'll also add some value to their profiling?
Definitely, and I think it happens to the HR more frequent than other, I think, services, business lines. So yeah, if I won't say, you have replicas of the same profiles. Obviously, there's always a plus and a minus in terms of the skill set and years of experience and the compensation. But I get your point that, you have a similar kind of people on the table, and then how do you pick and choose? So I always somebody who has the right behavior when it comes to, if it is a cutthroat position, I will always pick somebody who has a good behavior in terms of coachability, and the reason or hunger for growth has to be there. So these are the two things which I look for when I am really, really tight on a kind of whom should I select. And why these two? Again, likewise, I said it earlier also. Because you are not being hired for who you are today. You are being hired to do today and tomorrow with the organization, and organization will not spend on money to keep to retain such people who don't want to get retained. So your
Correct.
coachability has to be there, your upskill behavior has to be there, and that can only be done by somebody who is really hungry for growth. Somebody only sees the next jump as, say, a comp high or a promotion or something like that, that will eventually fall off because people will get to know about it. You will see that very, very clearly once you hire those kind of people. So, uh, yeah, your hunger for growth and your coachability is what I believe are the two parameters which I really look at if I have similar people on the table. Yeah.
Wonderful. So attitude and behavior competes more than the technology skills is what in the race which will help in succeeding the entire competitors
Yeah,
if we have to see.
because I believe that your implementations slowly and gradually will be actually taken over by AI, right? It is not. It will not be what you're doing currently. You will be doing it. So the human interference will only come when you do a strategic work, when you are actually able to help management in going to the next level from A to B and B to C, and that can only be done when you are open, when you can coach people, when you are coachable, when you have the hunger, then when you have that genuine hunger of growing and being with beliefs in you. So yeah, that's how it is going to be.
Correct, correct. See, in the business point of view, also we seeing a sea changes in terms of adoptability of new government rules, the FDI rules,
Yeah.
socio-economic changes. There are a lot of new adoption which is taking place in the business front itself, right? And business wants somebody who can adopt quickly and execute results and create impact rather than telling excuses. Okay, US is not supporting, UK is not supporting, and then we still remain stagnant in the same thing. Rather, people, I mean, MDs and CEOs and chairmen want somebody who's really, really proactive to adopt a little more faster, like how we have
Yeah.
did in COVID crisis. Like a lot of
Yes.
people were not have the habit of working on Zoom meetings and other things. And during COVID time, even engineering firms or automobile firms who never ever have the possibility of Zoom meeting, they shifted into their online working space kind of thing. So maybe the faster adoption mechanism or attitude has to be at the forefront rather than betting on our skill sets alone and the behavioral proactiveness. And time and again I'm getting the same element in a wide variety of topics. One is the open for learning attitude. Second is the networking, which
Yeah.
is majority is the time is which is missing. That is why the complaint rises. Okay, I'm not getting a job. I'm not getting interviews. I'm competing with Gen Z. All that. So that rises to the point of the visibility part of this mid-career and senior professionals, because we come with that age of, okay, let work speaks for ourselves. Okay, so that is the attitude which many of the 80s, 90s kids
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
Okay, let them call only because of my work. I'll not showcase anything. I'll not post anything on social media. So is it like that low visibility is hurting all these senior careers and skills? What do you see? I mean, Dhaval, I'll start with you, then I'll shift to Geetika.
Yes, I would definitely agree to that. One of my very good person in the senior position have always told me that whenever you are doing something fantastic, ensure that everyone and their brother knows that you are doing it.
Hmm.
Unless and until you go ahead and tell, people have got no time to look at what many things are happening. Because see, we all need to agree that we always crave that our management or our seniors, they come and appreciate our work. But apart from doing that, they have their own job as well. They have to look
Right.
after their career as well.
Hmm.
Individuals are responsible for their own careers. Now, when we
Hmm.
say that yes, visibility is very, very important, you need to be visible among the decision making circle, but that is a double edged sword.
Hmm.
This can work both the ways. So, if
Okay.
You are not a genuine individual who mean your business and who wants to grow, and you are just trying to create that facade of that showcase. I had seen a very beautiful meme somewhere which says, काम करो या ना करो, काम का जिक्र करो. That means whether you are working or not, but you keep mentioning that this thing is happening. If you
Right.
are that kind of a person, trust me, I have worked with many C-level organization leaders. They are laser sharp. They will be able to figure out your
Yeah.
authenticity immediately. So that will
Correct.
be a career limiting move for you if you try to gain visibility by doing that kind of a stuff. But if you are genuinely putting your work, I have seen many, like, I call them like quote unquote as a wizards. They're like, I'm in my shell, I will do my coding, I will throw the solution, I will not go and publicize that. That is my
Mm.
manager's job. Then, sorry, sir,
Mm.
that is not happening. You
True.
have to do it. And this is something I have learned very hard way is that each and every individual, each and every living being has to be a salesman.
Right.
You have to sell your own credentials, you have to sell your own skill set, you have to sell your own candidature, right from prime minister to the most low level worker or the bottom level of individual in an organization. Everybody needs to sell their own selves, their own skills. Otherwise nobody is coming and giving you the corner office. These things only happen in Bollywood movies, not in real life.
Nobody will create a chair and give it to you. You only have to create your own chair and then elevate yourself, because that's the space right now because of the entire crowd and all that. So Kitika, what is your dimension? So like a lot of people missing visibility or not even creating some showcasing, at least in LinkedIn. What is your thoughts?
Yes, yes. I think because you also mentioned very correctly, Kumar, probably 15, 20 minutes back, that when you lose the job and you get into that panic mode, and now you want that opportunity on LinkedIn that people start helping you, but that doesn't help. That is only basically a panic reaction to what you have actually gotten from your organization. So networking is something which is not a support anymore. It is your probably one of the skill which you should always have in your pocket. If you
Correct.
don't do it, you are nowhere. This is very simple, and that's the reason people create net worth nowadays, because that is how it is going to help you. Your net worth. This is what we listen, right? So yes, there was a certain way that people used to behave, that my manager is responsible, like as Dhaval also mentioned, that my manager is responsible for my visibility, and we are going to be like this. We'll keep coding into a cocoon, and then we'll get what we should be getting. But nowadays things are not running like that, because what you're doing in that cocoon will be actually replaced by AI very soon. And what you bring to the table has to be a very strategic role, and nobody is going to pitch that for you. You have to do it, because somebody like your manager, Dhaval mentioned very, very honestly, that your manager also has a role up to look at. He or she is not going to like keep pushing for you. So I think, yes, the more you talk, the more you are in the market, the more you upskill yourself, the more you help people, and that is how it is going to help you nowadays. Whether like Dhaval also mentioned, I think in the starting of the conversation, that whatever job changes, or whether internal or external, that is via his own network, and this is such a great thing to have, because you are building your own network by networking with people. And it's not about HR or procurement or tech or whatsoever, but this is being your own professional self, being there for yourself in the market. That is it. This is very simple. This is not a skill which is optional anymore. You have to be there.
Correct, correct, correct. So, like majority of our clients, what I see during the conversation is they treat both Naukri and LinkedIn at the same way. Like we used to educate, like Naukri, it is being accessed only by the recruiters, the talent acquisition team, and manpower agency. Only those people have access to Naukri. But in LinkedIn, it's a 360 degree, right? Even chairman, board of director can see your profile, and the reverse can happen. Board of that, I mean, in Naukri, what happens is recruiter is pulling out a CV and then passing on to the hiring manager. But reverse can happen in LinkedIn. Even board of directors If somebody they see, okay, subject matter expert which can contribute to their organization, they can pull out that LinkedIn URL and then share to the recruiters. This is what been happened in my last organizations as well, because whoever is very skilled up, they have started posting the newsletter or showed how that particular project worked, or which are all clients we have contributed this, all that showcasing happened. That's the reason the board of directors got that visibility of that particular subject matter expert, and then he said, okay, I want this guy for my team, and then he passed that LinkedIn profile to the recruiters, and reverse is happening. Now this element is not been aware with most of the job seekers, and they keep applying as an activity of job hunt, which never gets a major hit ratio. I think that's the huge gap which we see in the
Yeah.
entire job hunter arena, that they are treating every platform like a job portal and keep applying rather than networking
Yes.
or
Yes.
showcasing. I think that differentiation needs to be educated. So, what would you suggest to these kind of people, maybe in terms of open for learning, networking, or creating visibility? Maybe with your past experience, where you could have also lacked that element, and then you figured out, oh, okay, this is where I'm finding a gap. What are all implementations you have done, and maybe you can give a like final remarks or final suggestions to the audience. Again, starting from Geetika, and then I'll move on to Dhawan.
Sure. So, obviously, I have been there. So, this is my first-hand experience that I was just again sitting in a cocoon, doing my recruitment, talking to people, shortlisting. But thankfully, there was no AI at that point in time, and I, good or a bad thing, but yes, I was the person who was doing responsible for recruitment. And so, my thought process was that I'll process certain resumes, I'll do my work diligently, efficiently, and then my man will be pitching in for me for my appraisals and all of that.
Hmm.
But over a due course of time, I also understood that, my next level is also looking for a next level. This is very simple,
Hmm.
right? If they keep focusing on me, they won't be able to focus on the job. So one is in what I want to say is, one, you have to start talking to people about yourself. And I'm not saying it has to be always in a professional setup. You join an NGO, there's so, you look out for a platform, what do you want to do, and go and meet people. And trust me, when I started going out, uh, 2 years back, moved to Bangalore. Bangalore was a pretty new city for me. I moved from Guam, where I've stayed for all my life. Uh, so getting in touch with new people, joining communities, leading a group of women. There's so many things you can do, but the point is, you can only do in life when you understand that networking is the key. Whether it's for your professional or for your personal life, you have to be there. I'm a parent also. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I run a business. I'm a daughter. So everything occupies your life, but everywhere your networking is going to help you. So, for example, my mother was not well, so I got a doctor's kind of reference of my networking space. So why not? So if you don't build it, it is not going to help you professionally, but also personally. That's my one take from my own kind of experience. Secondly,
Fantastic.
what in terms of resume, I want to specifically mention that, for example, if you're targeting, say, your next role. So, for example, if you're thinking that I want to be a manager recruitment, hypothetically speaking, uh, so you pick up 3 JDs from competition or from wherever you are targeting, what companies you are targeting. You see the LinkedIn of that person, see what they are doing, they bring on the table, read the JD, and then you list down what you are doing. What do you bring on the table? Where is that gap in terms of qualification, your skill, and your behavior, right? And you work towards it. This is not going to happen, say, in a week or a month or two. This will take time, but you need to prioritize on working on yourself, and that is how you want to do. And every person wants to join a better organization. They don't want to be in the same situation as they are today. So when you join a better organization, people are doing better there. Target those kind of companies. Read their JDs, understand what they are doing in terms of qualification, skills, and behavior, and work on your resume accordingly. I'm sure that you will get a call. If you have done that work, you will get a call from specific companies whom you are targeting. And uh, always be always be very, very open in terms of being a mentor and a mentee also. It is not always that
True.
you always have to mentor people. Be a mentee. It is a great thing. You always have to have. I've honestly I've learned so many things from Dhaval today and from you that while he was speaking about Dhaval was speaking about his own experience. I understood that this is what I've been through as well. It is such a great thing to get
Yes.
jobs from your own network. So so if you keep your mind open, uh, the world is your space, and then you are good to go. But you have to be sure what you are heading towards, what you want to do is basically the question for yourself.
Makes a lot of sense. I think in your case, networking worked well, where you realize, okay, this is something I'm getting stagnated 9 to 5, and then there is nobody to elevate me to the next level. It's my responsibility and
Yeah.
willingness which will scale up. I think networking is some realization which hard hitted in your life, and then you
Yes.
opened that area and then started exploring. Even though you play a multiple roles, typically women play multiple roles, and you have that particular pattern. And at least for men we have time, but for women there are a lot of occupied elements which happens
Yeah.
bound to happen and exist. So I think networking, if you can do, like a lot of other people can start that activity, because that's is a missing element in the entire career. Yeah. Moving on to Deval, like what is your realization during your past mid career where you felt little stagnated, and what is your takeaway for this particular panel discussion?
See, I would like to tailor my answer for the target audience that we have, like, the 10 plus years of experience people. So, whenever we are looking for a job change at that point in time, let us not try to be very groundbreaking. Like if I am into marine industry, from there I suddenly want to pivot into the IT industry because the product management is getting a lot of traction over there. That would be a very groundbreaking, unless and until you have like fantastic network or you are able to showcase that talent. That's going to be very, very difficult for you, and that's going to be very, very challenging and emotionally draining, and it will come with the baggage. So always look for a logical succession in your career, and how incrementally you can add value. Look for those kind of roles first place.
Maybe
Second,
like transferable skills we have to identify and then reutilize.
correct, correct,
Yeah.
correct, correct. I wouldn't dwell much on the networking part. Geetika has already covered on that bit. Resume skills she has already covered. Then I would like to go on that a bit of a philosophical part of it. Read the book Ikigai, wherein you are supposed to
Oh,
find your why. Like, why is it that you want a job change? Why is it that you are looking for a role change? Fix your why first, and I'm pretty sure your how will take care of itself. And the
True.
final thing I would like to mention is that yet another favorite author of mine, Stephen Covey, has mentioned that in his Seven Habits book, one of the habit is that have that abundance mentality. For each and every one of you, there is a kind of a role out there in the industry. You just need to figure it out. You need to
Yes.
open your horizon. Coachability, we have already spoken about. Flexibility, we have already spoken about. Fungibility, we have already spoken about. Inculcate all this in the practice. Open your horizon. Look for the successful or logical succession of the kind of a role that you are looking for, and that will make it life easier for you rather than blindly just click, 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 click on LinkedIn or Naukris.
Kumar, I would also
Wonderful.
like to add one point here. We have all kind of people in the world. So few are introverts, few are extroverts, few are like both. So if you feel that you are somebody who is not ready to go out in the world yet and networking, I'll suggest that you start small. You post at least one insightful story on a LinkedIn, and then start. People start reacting slowly in that kind of audience for yourself. And obviously, recruiter will always go back and check your LinkedIn. They will always you are active. If somebody likes, doesn't like, comment, doesn't comment, it doesn't matter. But you being out there in the virtual world also makes a lot of difference. So somebody who's
Correct.
an introvert can also take a help of LinkedIn and such, like blog writing and all of that. If you are an introvert, that might help you. That's just a practical kind of input I wanted to share for introverts or people who are not ready yet.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I think that brings the concluding remarks on this particular panel discussion. So Well, as we begin the rest of this morning, is one message is very very clear. Experience is not the problem. Stagnation is. So the numbers we shared today highlight both the gap and the opportunity. So there are a couple of statistics which I have collected during the preparation of the panel discussion. Like only 18% of mid-career professionals upskilled last year. That means 2024. 18%. Think about the rest of the people who are not even bothered to think about on this particular area. Okay. And 72% feel undervalued, which means awareness is rising and reinvention is now beginning at a scale. Okay, they started thinking, oh, okay, this is the area which I have to start or rescale or rebuild my mindset, also, those kind of things. Now, companies cutting middle level layers by about 25% is also, it's very very true and realistic, and investing heavily on digital skills, automation, adopting to new model. Like this N10 has become a part of the solopreneurs journey, where a lot of automation tools have been already started. Now think about enterprises who will be bringing automation to the entire workflow. So where the cut will happen is at the mid-level layers, where facilitation role, coordination role, stereotypic role, all that will have a dead end, and there is no looking back, or upskilling investment will not be taken care. So people who are like 7 years, 8+ years, they have to start, even if they are at a no risk level, they have to start thinking about networking, open for learning, or at least spend their Saturday Sundays in investing some webinars, workshop, or at least even if you don't know where to start, you have to attend webinars and attend online discussions like this, so that you figure out or realize, oh, okay, this is where the gap. Otherwise, contemplating alone will give only a lot of assumptions, not the reality. So this is not a crisis, this is a career reset moment is what I call, wherein we label this as a crisis and then start blaming everything, rather than we should think, contemplate, and put a little a literal diary on whatever your job hunt process is happening. I've applied, okay, I've attended these interviews, what was the gap, what was working, what was not working, then moving on to a framework on what I have to do for next 6 months. Okay, in terms of upskilling, technology, or a mindset, all those things is what we suggest. But there is an ocean of discussion can happen in this particular area. So this is just a start to make you think that, okay, these are all the risk areas which we have to start. So thank you so much for joining this Sunday, sacrificing your family time and then joining this educative session. It was lovely and wonderful having a great conversation with you both, Deval and Geetika. Thanks for joining, and see you soon in the next sessions. Any final points, concluding remarks, if you want to suggest our audience, you can suggest.
Reach out to us, like GS and myself. We do counseling for a reason, right? It's not like a taboo anymore. We do career counseling for such people only. Like, reach out to us.
Yeah,
Yeah, please. In case if you need any kind of, if you see that in my connections you have somebody I can refer to, don't think twice. I'm right there on LinkedIn. Just connect with me so that I can connect you with the right people. I'm more than happy to post things for you in case if you need help in terms of your job and probably career switch and all of that. So you have resources, just that you need to ask the right people. We are there, and yeah, if you have any questions about what we spoke today, reach out to any of us. So yeah, thank you so much.
wonderful. So all the seniors are ready to help, but there should be a platform or a way forward to conversation to the existing people who are in the crisis. So these are the various platforms you can look at it. There are a lot of events which is happening online, offline, multiple ways. It's just that you have to spend time on Saturday, Sunday to look for those opportunities and be
Yeah.
a part of. Like, think that okay, people will be upskilling, I mean upselling their products or services or whatever. In one or the other conversation, you will get a hint or a trigger. Oh, okay, this is where I made a mistake. So that can be a triggering point for you to start something new, reinvent new, or change in mindset, which will always bring in. So we should open for new learnings. And as Gitika rightly pointed out, we should not become always have a level of mentoring kind of an attitude, rather than go back to the reverse as well, like
Yeah.
mentee. How we can learn new things from the Gen Z, what are the new tools they are using. That way also we can spend time so that we also get elevated and grow in the next level of other things. Otherwise, we lose out opportunities which a new companies, new enterprises are bringing itself. So maybe in LinkedIn, you see which are all the 10 plus years openings in your career. Like analyze and pull out 10 JDs and look for match from your resume and JD. What is this gap which is you're finding, and work towards for next 6 months. That's the only thing which you can fix, and then move it to the next level of GMVP or CXO, whatever it is. But not analyzing and keep doing the same work will make you stagnant. That's the only concluding things. So all the best for your careers, and thanks Geetika and Dhaval for joining the session and having a wonderful insights. Hope to see you soon. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Kumar. Take care. Have a